Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome, members of the Resistance. Kevin Jackson here, KJRadio.com. You are the resistance. I know that's a shock to many people's system, but you are, because we're not used to having that role. As conservatives, we go with the flow. Talked about it earlier. But you found out that the flow is against you. You've been swimming upstream for decades. You felt it most in the last decade, and you finally said, you know what? I'm no longer going to be going with the flow. You weren't getting anywhere. You work harder, you get less. You play by the rules, you get penalized. And you finally said, you know what? I'm going to change the course of the river. And good for you, you did it. Moshe Sherrod said, so we need people who will remain steadfast in any hardship and who have a high degree of resistance. That's what you're about. Get used to it. Get used to the idea that you get up in the morning and you're ready to, anybody, fight. I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's an acquaintance, Peter, out of California, listens to the show. And we were talking about the number of people who have finally awakened in the Republican Party, said, you know what, enough is enough. Very wealthy people who have sat on their hands. People who may in the past have been Bush supporters, supporters of the Rhino establishment, who are now saying, you know what, that's not what's going to defeat this thing that we are resisting against. They're finally recognizing it for what it is. It is a deep state, deeply rooted antagonism against America, the American way of life, the things that you teach your kids. Fairness and fair play. Those rules don't apply to the people that we resist. These elitists believe they should run the show. I actually heard a guy interviewing about immigration, and he says the experts in immigration should be the ones that determine if we build a wall. Not you Americans. You shouldn't set the policy. They don't need to listen to you. There are experts that can do it. And Tucker Carlson asked him, so what, there's like 4,000 people that should be setting all the policy for the America? Why do we even have a democratic republic? A democracy is what Tucker said. Why? That's exactly the question that the left is asking every single day. Why do we need you? What do you think you know? Who are you to tell us that we have to elect a guy who's never run for office, who's got no real chance of winning, doesn't know how to legislate, isn't a politician? Who are you to tell us that an accomplished businessman can run this country? You know who we are? We're the resistance. We're the people that say, we've seen what you've done. We know how you operate. You are crooks and criminals, and enough is enough. There's a saying, most of us live two lives. I've talked about it, but not in this context. They say there's the life we lived and there's the unlived life within us. And between the two stands the resistance. Who do you want to be? I don't really care about memories, what am I going to be remembered as? Some people are going to talk about me down the road, a few years, maybe after my death. Other people won't give a crap, they don't care. But here's the deal. Neither do I. But what I do care about is what's going on right now. What it impacts and how it impacts people, congratulations. I'll be gone to a better place. But I care about it now. And it isn't because I want to win. It's because it's right. It's righteous. It would be like seeing an animal in the road that's hurt and trying to help it, or a human being that's in distress and helping. It's the right thing to do. Do I have to do it? No. Do I need to go out of my way? Do I have something that I want to do? Yeah. But is it more important than what's happening in that moment? The answer to me is no. And that's why we resist. We get up every day and do that. A guy named Billy Corgan said, if I have resistance to something, it means there's something wrong. The resistance to me is a sign of fear. And what he's telling you is you must tackle that fear. You must address that fear. And that's what we've done. Good for us. And I'm going to tell you something, folks. We couldn't have picked the best time. We started in 2008. I did anyway. Most of us did. I still say to many people, how political were you prior to Obama? Many of us weren't even in the game. It's sad to say because Bush was he's a horrible president. He really was. But many of us weren't tuned in because it wasn't having the impact. And then finally something came to be. And I got to tell you, thank your lucky stars for Barack Obama. This is the one place where you can thank him because he made you so politically aware that you finally went, wow, I finally figured out I've been swimming against the tide. But that doesn't mean you go with the flow. It means you turn that tide. See, there's an ebb and a flow. Waxing and waning. And we have decided we're going to turn the tide. It isn't about the direction we've been swimming. We swim in the right direction every day. I promise you do. You do it by the book. And that should be rewarded. But doing things by the book doesn't get rewarded in this world. Not in this leftist utopia where everything is backwards. So good for us. Now let me tell you something. I'm going to make you feel really good today. I'm going to tell you why the Republicans are going to whoop the absolute heads of leftists in 2008, this year in November of 2018. And Bernie Goldberg wrote this great piece about it, and it encapsulates so many of the things that I have felt that there's no reason for me to talk about it. I'll just tell you what Goldberg says. But feel good. There's an old saying, resistance is futile. No, it isn't. Not anymore. All the rules changed on November of 2008. November the 8th of 2008. All the rules changed. The Democrats, nothing that they do applies anymore. None of the tricks that they have work. Adam Schiff, all of them, they are scrambling. They don't know what to do because they're completely ineffective. And you know what? There is no other playbook for lying, lecherous snakes, scoundrels, scurrilous rats. There is no other book. So I'm so glad you're here. KJRadio.com. 844-551-8255. We got a lot to talk about. A lady sent me a note about the Super Bowl. I want to cover that, so we may do a little bit of listener viewer or whatever you call it, listener mail. But I definitely want to get into this thing about why the Republicans are going to win in 2018 so you can relax.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.